living around the city, we kind of see this massive boom happening. This is not the Indianapolis I grew up in. There's a lot of transferable skills that came from teaching into agency. So it wasn't like, oh, I gotta reinvent the wheel and how I communicate and how I educate and all that stuff.
You bring up Indy to like anyone in the Midwest, they're like, oh, it's thriving. It's doing amazing. Everyone in Chicago is moving here and wants to be here because it's easier to live here too.
More affordable as well.
Welcome back to another Roots podcast episode. I am Tyler Lingle and I'm here with my co-host Max Moore, and we're here with our very own agent, Kyle Hoffman.
Kyle is a teacher turned real estate agent, kind of similar to Tyler. He took the leap last fall, full-time into agency, and has just absolutely become like this rocket ship to the moon. Each month, I'm just floored by the amount that Kyle is able to produce and how many lives he's been able to change, specifically in the first-time home buyer and house hack world. If you've house hacked with Roots in the last year, you've either worked with Trent or you worked with Kyle, and the odds of it being Trent are low compared to Kyle's stats. Dude is a house hack king. Him and Renato Lima at Approved Mortgage, I just group chat them, boom, you're closing a house. If you end up in a group chat with Kyle Hoffman and Renato Lima, you got a house. So without further ado, Kyle, welcome to the show.
What's up?
We start every show off with a quick planting roots. So first question is, if you were in Indy with $50K trying to start a real estate portfolio or just invest, what would you do with it?
Yeah, if I were to, I think, restart. So I just bought my house this year. So if I were to restart, I would probably go the house hack route. Obviously, I'm married now, so kind of making that switch from going renting to owning, we kind of wanted to have our separate space. And so really weren't, wanting to share walls anymore. So just went the single family route. So I would probably do that or just put the $50K in my current home. I live in Holy Cross. And then kind of the 5-year plan would be to kind of convert that into an Airbnb, have that kind of be the first one of the portfolio. So.
Yeah, I think that first house can be such an equity rocket ship. Yeah. My first house created 3 rentals for me. Your first house created multiple rentals for you as well, being that gateway. So I love that, just keeping it back where it's at. The house hack with a wife is like, I have had one person ever successfully pull it off to get them on board, and it was the wife leading the ship.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that's the only way it happens, is if it's, for the girls out there, you guys have the advantage because you can just grab the guy by the neck and say, let's go.
Send your wife this episode. Convert him.
Yeah, you have to. Mine's not getting converted.
Yeah, she was close. I mean, we looked at one.
I do remember
it was
you
like
looking at one.
$425K in Fountain Square. She just thought it felt too modern. It was one of the I think it was 2 Chicks and a Hammer. Did like the renovation, renovation, and like
probably good you didn't buy theirs.
Yeah,
hearing all sorts of stuff beneath the walls. Well, they're not doing renovations anymore.
They aren't doing renovations anymore. There were some good apples there.
No, there were some good ones. Yeah. No offense to 2 Chicks. You
guys
are awesome.
Yeah, just throwing shade early in the episode. Yeah, I love that. $50K, throwing it into your own investment to skyrocket the life. House hack if you can. If you had one free billboard in Indy for a week, what would it say?
That's a tough one. Jesus is king.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have it be centered around anything about myself or anything around real estate, really. I don't even know how much that would really move the needle anyways. So,
right.
I don't know how many phone calls you're getting. Jesus is king. What do you think somebody driving by 465, what's the emotion that comes out? They're just like,
if they see Jesus as king, it's probably one way or the other. I think it's kind of polarizing, oddly enough. I mean, he was a polarizing character in his day. It was either on board with him or, you have a different perspective on it. So
I think most influential people are pretty polarizing.
Yeah,
the beauty of it in the marketing. So
anyone who's made a huge impact in the world had haters.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're Pharisees. Deep.
Jesus is king.
Next question.
I love it.
If you could describe Indy in one word, what would it be?
Undiscovered, I would say. Especially kind of just being in the Midwest. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even know where to point to on a map when maybe they've heard of it, right? I know, like my wife, when she moved up this way, like she didn't know where Indiana was. She thought Chicago was a state. Now maybe that's
How common is that?
yeah.
for people
I
to
don't
sell?
know.
It probably
I was like,
is.
Should be.
Maybe that's something wrong with the Texas education system, but I don't know.
We're throwing major shade early on in
yeah.
this podcast.
But yeah, I think it's vastly undiscovered still, and I think for us who grew up going and living in and around the city, like for us, we kind of see this massive boom happening. We're like, this is not the Indianapolis I grew up in, right? We're really put on the map. I mean, I was traveling a lot, kind of the last 4 to 6 weeks, and just seeing like Pat McAfee and his show popping off and seeing right behind him, what do we see? The Indianapolis skyline. It's like, that's really cool to see like on ESPN every single day. Yeah. So it's like, we're making pretty big strides now, but I still think we're still kind of in the early stages of what could happen.
Is something undiscovered that you would like to call out
Yeah, I think
in Indianapolis?
I think there's a lot of opportunities to get out and visit new restaurants and stuff in the downtown space. I think there's a lot of opportunities to get plugged in with like intramural sports. I think there's a lot of people who aren't doing that. I think CCA is one that I early got into, and you can kind of just network and connect with people. And then just I think there's a lot of entertainment options too. I mean, we're kind of becoming a sports mecca in a lot of senses.
We're like number one on every sport right now.
Yeah.
We're on top.
Yeah.
So I
There's
think
a post that shows like every sport. We're literally number one, even women's basketball, not
it's
number one.
it's pretty
but
great. Yeah.
In the
top
top
5, right?
Yeah.
We were top 5. Yeah.
So I think, it's one of those things where it's like, just now I feel like we're kind of getting our credit, but
Indiana's having a heyday. I would say, like right now, it seems to be a really. You bring up Indy to like anyone in the Midwest, they're like, "Oh, it's thriving. It's doing amazing. Everyone in Chicago is moving here and wants to be here because it's easier to live here too,
more affordable as well." So
Right.
I saw a post last week that was like the Indy people think I live in. It was like cornfields and probably out like how I live in Danville. And then it was like the Indy I actually live in. It was like Pacer game, Fever game, IU game, and just Indy 500 and all the great things that happen sporting wise, and then all the connectivity. And it was coffee shop and dinner and nightlife. And it's interesting to see a 5 mile like square radius become this route in this just network king. I feel like.
Yeah, and it's not going to be on the same level as like New York City. I mean, you were just in
just got back.
right? It's
It was funny from the
experience.
plane. We like took off, had a perfect view of Manhattan. It was like shimmering in the sunrise. Came into Indy and like the cloud blanket had settled in. It was all snowy, and I was like, it looked really like depressing. But then got in and it was like settled in. I was like, I'd rather be here.
Yeah, it's slower. It's
rather
more
be here.
accessible. It's obviously more affordable. So you get a lot of the same amenities that you would get and experiences that you can get in big cities without having to deal with all the people and the high prices. So
Right.
I think we're doing all the right things. And I think that the connectivity, the intramural sports you mentioned, I love how no matter what age, from like 25 to 40, there's some sort of networking to go to for whatever you're into. And everybody's willing to share and like, come play flag football with me. I'm like thinking about joining a flag football league. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense for.
Right. You're gonna play nose guard.
Yeah, something.
Center.
I don't know how well I'll block. There's a lot of people watching that are sitting right now at a W-2 job thinking about how do I get out of this and have that entrepreneurial bug that's bit them. Maybe they're, just hitting their 30s and like, I need a life change. Tell me about the days getting licensed, jumping into real estate. Where'd the excitement come to leap?
So I'll kind of rewind the clocks a little bit more. The first thought that I even had of like getting out of a W-2 job came from Tyler. We were like hanging out with friends. I think it was probably maybe 2022.
I remember.
Like you had, made the jump from going teaching into real estate. And like, I honestly didn't even know what to think. I was like, I don't know what Tyler's doing. He's gonna
be on my
he's gonna
couch
really
here
struggle
soon.
through this thing. I don't know about this real estate thing. Like I didn't know anything about real estate, to be honest. I knew they made a 3% commission, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, some of them can rake it in. Either way, he kind of approaches me half jokingly, like talking about like, hey, would you want to be a property manager? Kind of like throwing out a feeler. And I was like, I don't have any desire to be the guy that gets called at 2 a.m. from someone who has a leaky toilet. Like I was like, that is not, I'm not the guy for that. But I was like, okay, like maybe there's something there with like the agency side of things. So that was like the first kind of seed that was planted. And then I think it was maybe 7 months later, I was really thinking at this time, I was a teacher. So I was teaching at Lawrence North High School at the time. I taught anatomy and physiology. And I actually loved what I did. I was coaching basketball, coached baseball a little bit. I really enjoyed what I did. The problem was I was like, okay, if I want to start a family and provide for a family, I'm not going to be able to do that on a $50,000, salary. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Right. So I was like, okay, either people are going to wise up and we're going to just say, yep, we're going to start paying teachers 6-figure salaries. Yeah. Or I was going to have to change something. So option one was, okay, I'm going to become a school administrator, athletic director, something like that. Option two was I'll go back to school and become a physician's assistant. And then option three was like, okay, maybe there's something with this real estate thing. So it was 2023 and I decided, okay, I have summer break. I can go to, FC Tucker's, 4-week in-person training to, get the license. Relatively low barrier of entry, right? Maybe you spend a couple grand to get licensed and everything. And I was like, okay, I can just give this a go and just kind of see what comes of it. Do it part-time for a year, and kind of see what happens there. So, got licensed. I think I joined the brokerage at Properties, and then I joined the team pretty early on. And I think probably for, both your side and my side, it was kind of like, we'll see how this goes. It's like part-time agency. Like
sometimes we're still seeing how the Roots goes.
Because part-time agency, like it just doesn't work.
Right.
But it, allowed me a little bit of time to kind of, see what a transaction looks like and all that. So first transaction, I think I went like active in October of 23. First transaction closed in like late February. It was a client from California. It was his first deal. It was my first deal. It was a $63,000 flip deal in Anderson.
Let's go.
When I got the commission check, it's so funny. A little $850 check. That was like the moment for me. I was like, wow, like
this is possible.
This is possible. I was like bit by like the entrepreneurial bug a little bit.
Yeah.
And back then, like we were very paycheck to paycheck. $850 was like kind of life-changing. I was like, okay, we get a little bit of breathing room, right? So then it was like, okay, how can I replicate that? And then going towards the end of the school year, I was like, I do not want to teach another year because I want to be able to pursue this full time. So had conversation with you guys, right? We're able to kind of figure out this listing coordination position, right? Helping you guys out, getting your listings off the ground, provided me a little bit of base pay,
right?
Just to have that safety net for the first couple months. And then honestly, just being able to be in deals every day and kind of support you guys is what really allowed me to get a lot of reps and to kind of go from there.
It's cool because I think you just laid out a perfect blueprint for someone.
Yeah.
Which is like join a team, find mentors, and be of use to the team until you kind of get your wings and can fly.
Yeah. Right.
Because talk about where you're at now versus, that journey. I'm just curious.
Well, my whole mission was like, I needed to make myself so valuable to where you couldn't say we don't need you.
Like, so the beginning, I think we're like, hey, we've already trained a bunch of new agents because our bus was filled with new people that didn't produce.
Yeah.
And then we were staring it down with you. We're like, we just don't know if we have the capacity.
I was doing nothing for not doing nothing, but I wasn't producing anything, right? When I was part-time. So then it was like, okay, I need to make myself extremely valuable in this new position. But yeah, it was just a crazy, exponential growth. I think that happened. I didn't expect it to happen as quick as it did. I was a little like, I don't know, Max has this way of talking where he'll say things that I think he knows 100% isn't true, but I believe him. And like, but we both want to believe it. So it was like, when he first, pitched the listing coordination thing, I was like, okay, I like the sound of it, but there's a little bit of skepticism there. Like, okay, is this going to work? Am I going to be able to do this?
Right.
And then lo and behold, it
worked
better
fabulous.
than I thought it could.
Yeah.
So it was really phenomenal. But
It was like May of last year. I'm sitting here looking at Kyle, who had managed to close a deal while still teaching a classroom through the week, and like supporting your wife doing her pottery and going to things on the weekend to be able to sell those. And I'm like, this guy is so busy and also still making it work. And actually, he closed a deal. And that's like the hardest thing to do. If you can close a deal, you can close a deal. Like, let's just close deals. And I knew that I had a 2-month runway because however school systems work nowadays, you get like 8 weeks off in the summer.
Yeah, it's
I can
quick.
remember summers that we had like, it felt like the whole year off by the end of it.
Right.
I think that's the point, to keep your mind going. But I knew that I had 8 weeks to prove to him that he could make a full-time income or double or triple or quintuple whatever he was making, and leave benefits behind, leave everything behind, and walk out the door. And I was staring that's a beast to do. 2 months to change everything.
That's a short runway in real estate.
No shot.
We're talking like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For normal real estate runway.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the end of it, you had closed a couple deals over the summer, had a couple pending. And I'm like, please don't go back to teaching. And I think it was like the week of you put in your notice.
it was, I gave him like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
but it was definitely into July when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to just, give this a go.
Yeah. So
What does your like close friends and family think now that you're in real estate actually doing this? Like, were they skeptical at first or?
Yeah, I mean, people want to be supportive, right?
Sure.
There's a little bit of, underlying like, what's he doing? Like, it seems like a big switch up, which it is, obviously going from W2.
Similar to me. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's risky.
Yeah, I think because I was joining a team, I think it helped a little bit. And it was like, by the time it came around where it was like, like there's a listing coordination position I'm doing. So there's a little bit of base, that gave people a little bit more ease. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if they understood like exactly what goes into the job. So it's kind of like
Nobody on the outside knows.
Yeah,
They think
I
we
mean,
like fart around on play on TikTok all day.
Yeah, my wife always jokes when she's like leaving for work in the morning. She's like, some of us have to work today.
No, same with my wife. I feel like when I get home and I'm like finishing call, she's like, time to watch your son, like it's real work. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just made us $10,000 today. Forgive me.
No, I'm not gonna act, but it's like,
But it is fun.
Doing this work is better. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's way more fun. I can work at a coffee shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of
The
my
freedom
job
is incredible.
is talking with clients. That's fun. That's enjoyable for me.
Right.
It's actually a huge blessing to be able to do a job that I enjoy doing and make more money doing.
Right.
some of us
Right,
have to work
so-
today. That's so funny.
But I mean, it's just it's kind of the world we live in, where it's the difference of the W-2 mentality versus kind of working for yourself. Right. It's very freeing. And so it allows me to go do a showing on a Saturday or on a Sunday, if I want to, right? I'm making the decision as opposed to, you have to be at work at, 8:20 today. We've got this meeting. You've got to do this, so.
Right. But then on the flip side, the stat that I always remember is 80% attrition rate in 2 years.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's not because it's not fun. It's because it's a big responsibility to find where you're going to make your next month's rent or paycheck is hard.
I also just think it's like, it's not for everybody. Like, there's jobs that fit you as like, your personality type, your skills. It doesn't, like, for me, there's a lot of transferable skills that came from teaching into agency. So it wasn't like, oh, I got to reinvent the wheel and how I communicate and how I educate and all that stuff. Like, it was already there. It already fit kind of what I like to do and what I'm already good at. So
Well, realtors are educators. I feel the same way. I was like, this is actually easier to educate because they're so bought into the
they're
process.
bought in. They want to be there.
It's like,
they want to hear from
it feels
you,
like I'm
right?
doing my job and actually getting paid and incentivized by the people on the other side.
Right.
Is how I described it to people. Because I had my uncle, he's probably not going to listen to this. He was like, oh, I think it was better when you were a teacher. I'm like, that was one of the most ignorant things I ever heard. But number one, because you don't know what it was like to be me. But then two, I was like, actually, I am still educating.
Yeah.
On a broader scale now, I feel like having more impact.
Yeah. And it's like, you have influence in the classroom, you have influence with clients. It's two different things.
Two very
but
worthy things to do.
It's the same kind of like skill set that you're bringing to the table.
Right.
But yeah, I think it very much boils down to there are jobs that fit us as people. And when you're unhappy with your job, it's probably because there's something that is better suited for you. And I think a lot of people get into real estate because it's glamorous in terms of like, oh, well, you can just do these showings and you can make a lot of money. And so there's a lot of people that's the draw, right? Sure. It's not actually like, oh, I want to have a positive impact on people and help them find their home. That's the pitch sometimes, but not everybody is, being honest with that. Right. And there is an opportunity to make a lot of money in real estate.
Especially as a Christian, I think.
Yeah. And so it's like, you got to have like some convictions behind what you're doing. And, some people are going to be transactional about it. And I think those are the people that aren't going to be in the business for very long because, us humans, we are very, we can read into that stuff and we can pick up that pretty easily. So
I think in every single relationship that you approach, this is something I've been thinking on a lot. There is a transactional moment and a transformational moment or opportunity. It's like every single human interaction we have, no matter if it's your parents, your siblings or wife or kids, you are going to be transactional with them. You want something from them. You want something from everybody and everybody wants something from you. The question becomes though, what transformation can you do as a result of that relationship? And the problem in our industry is that too many people approach relationships transactionally, and they leave the transformation at the door. So you get closed, and unfortunately, hopefully Logan's listening to this. Like we have a tenant situation going on with a house hacker where there's a tenant that renewed their lease well under contract, no knowledge to us, no knowledge to anybody in the transaction. The property manager's autopilot did it, and he's supposed to live there. Like he's supposed to live in the unit. It's a like big problem. There's another unit he can move into and like we can sort things out and we're working through it. However, in that moment, we could block his number and just be like, sucks, dude. Sorry that happened to you. No, hell no. We are going to hold hand in hand and figure this thing out. It's an equation and problem that have to be solved and it's a relationship for a lifetime. And through those connections, like I know that that's been a transformative relationship, and he's learned a ton and been educated by Kyle and his stewardship and showings with me and learning how to break in. Yeah, I love those approaches of solving complicated problems.
What you just said sparked something, which is I remember working with a client named Jarrett. Maybe he'll listen to this, maybe not. And this was the first moment I thought, oh, Kyle's going to make it, because I remember thinking he's in better hands with Kyle than me. Because at the beginning, I'm sure I was annoying you, kind of helicoptering, like, oh, let's make sure this doesn't go wrong. Kyle's like doing his thing in the group chats. And then I'm like, no. And it's like, Kyle's like, no, like he probably already had it all worked out. And I just come in and just like wreak chaos. Yeah. But it dawned on me, like it was last spring, that it was like, actually, he's got this and he's better with certain clients than I would be. Yeah. And I was like, that's when like you're coming into your own, so to speak, as an agent.
Well, I think there's a transformation capacity in that, right? So like that's why so many people are transactional, because you can have 100 transactional relationships because they're just a cycle in and out. It's harder to have 100 transformational relationships because they require energy,
more of you,
new client, new commitment, more time that they could call me with problem that I want to solve for them. Right. Yeah. It becomes this mass load, which is why we have a team. There are people to which I go, yeah, let's marry them with Kyle. That's going to be this beautiful relationship that evolves that I couldn't do.
I think that's what our team does exceptionally well. Yeah. Is like get out of our own way and put you with who you're truly best with.
Yeah. Just people having their niche and finding their niche. Yeah. And I think like it definitely takes some time. I had a good conversation with a now client on Monday. I met with him a year ago, and he reached out to me while I was on vacation in Hawaii, just an email, and I saw it come through. He was going to be in town and wanted to schedule a meeting, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. Just responded, quick little email. And in my conversation with him, it was kind of like, it was one of the first times I felt like I was interviewing my future client in a way, where I was just transparently saying, hey, here's how I operate and here's my specialties. Does that sound like something that works and aligns with what you're looking for? So being able to kind of have that abundance mentality of like, I don't need to lock this guy in and say, oh, I'm going to be able to do the best work. I'm the best agent in the city. Like there's a ton of other good agents too. And you have a choice. And if this is how you want to work, that's not how I do it. This is how I do it. How's that work? So just being, transparent with that too. And so I think, one of the things that our team is, as we grow, right, we're getting different personalities. We have different niches that we're carving out. I think that's one thing that we can kind of service our clients best and say, where do we see you best fit? Right. So,
yeah. And I think anybody that's sitting on the fence going, man, 2025 has been a hard year. My W-2 feels staler than ever. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, and I feel called, spiritually to be here. But there is something that has been in the, stirring up, and you want to take a leap. Like, come have a conversation with somebody like Kyle and hear his story out and allow him to interview you to a sense to say, like, do you actually want to take this leap? And this is what it looks like. And these are some of the anxiety points that hit. I would encourage anybody to trial that. Like, the age of this generation is to not get stuck, because if you get stuck in one W-2, they're not taking care of you. I mean, it's just, there's no pensions and things like that exist anymore.
My dad was giving like his life story to this group of like 50 or 60 people. And I was in the room, and he said when he became an entrepreneur, he was 45 and he was making $400,000 a year. And my mom looked at him and was like, "You're crazy. Tyler's going to college. Our bankroll like is higher than ever." And he was like, "If I don't do it," he told her, "He's like, if I don't do it now, I will never." Because like if you're making $500,000 a year in salary, like that's the most addicting thing ever.
It's handcuffs,
the golden handcuffs, right? But he did it and wound up being way more fulfilled, but also making way more money.
Yeah,
it doesn't always turn out that way. Let's be honest, but for him it did, because he trusted that calling really to step into that. And for some people, it might happen in your 40s or 50s, which is wild. I'm glad it didn't happen for me or us that way.
Yeah.
But everyone's on their own path, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's audacious. It's intimidating. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to take that leap. So I commend you for that. Before we let you go, we always wrap up with a segment that we like to call Taking Root. It's a few questions, some indie-based, some spiritual-based. That is probably the best part of the show, and we should just start there and end there, and we'd have millions of views. You want to hit first question?
Yeah. Favorite brunch spot?
Favorite
in
brunch
Indy.
spot? I mean, this one's probably kind of cliche, but like Cafe Patachou is probably it. Specifically the one at the Stutz, because it's got the best vibes in there.
Yeah.
It sounds so cliche, but like it is a very good staple.
What do you get on the menu?
The Cuban breakfast was kind of my go-to, but the chilaquiles are also really good.
Dude, the cinnamon toast.
Yeah, the cinnamon
It's all about
toast.
the cinnamon toast.
They throw that in as a little extra.
Yeah. The Stutz is unknown, but really solid spot.
Yeah, it's the only Cafe Patachou location I have food limitations.
Burger.
I'm allergic to milk and nuts, and they actually do a fantastic job with that. Their alternative is like a fruit bowl, so it's like not fulfilling enough.
Not a fruit.
Come on, dude! You don't want melon and
come on.
grapes.
For breakfast, I need a little bit more. I need some more. Tyler loves booking meetings there, and I just sit.
I used to book every like meeting at Cafe Patachou. Spent ungodly amounts of money, but Max would like not eat anything.
I would just
Like,
sit
what do you
with
want
a
next?
cup of water.
I can't have anything. Some ice chips, please.
Yeah.
So we stopped booking.
I was like, if you want the food, just go to the Stutz and I can eat.
Now we
because
go to
they
the
have a lunch
garage.
menu.
Many options at the garage.
Yeah. What's one habit that changed your life?
I think working out regularly. And this started in college. I actually had a workout buddy who I lost a bet to him doing this, but I was like in this weird auxiliary gym that had like all the free weights and stuff. And I saw this dude. He was like an ROTC looking guy. It turns out he wasn't an ROTC at all. Most disciplined dude, Josh Ware, that's his name. Shout out. He would work out 6 days a week for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, just depending on the day. And I went up to him. He was like built. I was very skinny at the time, and I was like, I need to hit the weights. And so I made a bet with him that I would work out with him every day for like a 2-week stretch. And if I didn't, I'd buy him like Subway or something. Ended up losing the bet, but stuck with it after that. And like he really kind of provided the accountability to like, hey, you're going to be here at this time and we're going to, get our work in. And I did that for all of college. And it really kind of set the foundation for like, hey, you need to have some sort of like daily rhythm and have some discipline in what you do. And now I kind of adopt that same mentality into, doing other things, whether it's reading or, prayer or whatever, I think
It's funny because I remember Josh. He was, this dude had ungodly amounts of discipline, huge biceps, just like ripped out of his mind. But my brother and I would work out a lot of times in the afternoons at the same time.
Yeah.
And we would come in, hit the bench press, like do some curls and like leave in like 30 minutes. And like they would stay there 4 times the amount of time. I would even joke at Kyle, like, oh man, you got an hour left, like dripping in sweat.
It was crazy. Yeah. There were days I did not want to. Saturday morning lifts, 8 a.m. We'd be in there for 2 hours. I hated it, man. I hated it. Like
day.
It was the feeling afterwards though. You're like, okay, right. I'm accomplished. I did something hard today. So, yeah.
Last question for you. What is an area of your life you're focused on growing right now?
I think right now I'm just really trying to kind of along the same lines there. Just double down on my own discipline to hold myself accountable to my daily and weekly rhythms. I'm still kind of in this phase of like I want to build something. I want to influence people in the most positive way and steward what I've been given, and I feel like I'm not kind of hitting the mark with, my time, my finances, things like that. So I think just, really getting more dialed in to steward the good things that I've been given, because I've been extremely blessed, in more ways than I can count. And I don't want to squander that. So that's something I'm always trying to be more focused on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I encourage you and we'll hold you accountable to it. Last question. If our audience is looking for you, where can they find you?
Well, I'm in and around downtown all the time, popping around at different coffee shops. Yeah, that's usually where I'm at. If I'm not there, I'm, hanging out, playing soccer at ungodly hours on Monday nights. So
we've done a lot of ungodly stuff in this episode. We used that word like 5 times. My brain's not firing all cylinders.
Yeah.
That was the word that came to mind.
If you're at Grand Park and you see Kyle in a Roots jersey, go up and say hi and strike a conversation.
Yeah. Good branding on those kids.
Dude, I remember like there was a season where you were playing like 5 intramural sports, and every night I feel like this game.
There were times I think we were up to like 4 nights a week or something. I was doing like sand volleyball and then like 3 nights of soccer, and then Crystal was like, you gotta dial down on that one. So,
it's not college anymore, bro.
I was like literally signed up for a Thursday night league. And then she just was like, gave me a look, and I was like, all right, I'll drop out.
Wives, keep us in check.
Yeah, you can't be doing too much.
We are going to be doing the Roots flag football though.
We will be. Yeah, we'll carve out some time.
Spring.
For that.
This has been another episode of the Roots Podcast. Drop a like, comment, visit us at rootsrealty.co, and sign up to one of our events and come out to our next masterclass. Should be spring of 2026. We'll see you there. Peace.